How you doing, everyone? We're here for the third and final day of the Iberian Masters. I'm up in A section. I've been the last peg today. If you want to have a catch up on everything that's been happening this week, travelling over here, all the kind of kit we've been using, what happened in training and the previous 2 days, there are videos right here on the Catch Fishing channel for you to catch up on. So I won't go over all those details. Basically, I was 11th overall out of the, I think there's 110 or 115 fishing. I was 11th overall with 7 points. 3 points was leading, I think, and then there was 4 points. So it's very, very tight, very, very tight. However, I've come up here today and to be fair, it has fished hard again, but there have been more fish caught in this section. Now, this is the end peg, so basically A section has been going that way. I actually practiced on this peg on Wednesday, as it turns out, so I was a little bit familiar with the peg. One thing it really helped me do was to find a clear spot over there on that other bank really quickly, because I remember exactly where it was. So that saved me a bit of time. But it's been a very, very different day. We've got the wind hacking down now, as you can see. The wind's blowing down, but it's been twice, maybe 3 times stronger than this today. And you know, the early stages, it was quite wild, to be fair. You know, it was really, really strong. And I've had a slow start. I've started across there underneath that other bank. I haven't had any signs whatsoever. And then in the first 40 minutes, the angler that's been 2 anglers along, he's hooked a fish. He's hooked and landed a fish, and it was literally at about 5 meters out, ridiculously close in between the rocks. And that's not a line that I plan on putting in today. I've had a short line in, but it's been about 8 to 10 meters, which is where I fished the other day and caught some fish there. So that's where my confidence lied. And it's nice and clean out there. However, this like 5 meter line, 4 or 5 meter line, it's really rocky, it's very snaggy. But anyway, he's caught a fish there, but then he's gone in and he's caught another one. And this is in the first 40 minutes. He's got 2 carp in the net, you know, and you know, we are fishing for a bite, and he's got 2 fish in the net in the first 40 minutes, all on a line that I haven't planned on fishing. So the last lad next to me, the German lad, he's gone in on that line. He's had that line set up, and he's hooked a carp straight away, a really big carp, and unfortunately for him, it's broke him. But he's gone in again. He's got another one. And all this time while that's happening, I'm actually on that 8 meter line, 10 meter line, and I haven't had a single indication, nothing. And so I thought, are they closer in? Are they round these rocks? You can see these huge rocks down the margins. There's all sorts of snags down there. It's horrendous. And so that's what I've done. I've actually come back closer. I've come back onto that sort of 4 or 5 meter line, and just started a new line basically. And in, you know, over about the course of about 15-20 minutes, I've had a little indication, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the rod's gone over, and I've hooked a fish, a big fish. But as soon as I've hooked it, I could feel the line actually grating, as though the fish or the line had gone underneath something, and the fish has swam straight out. And all the time you've got that horrible juddering, as you can feel your line grating against something. And literally, I just felt straight away, I thought that I haven't got a chance of getting this. And literally 5 seconds later, all the lot's come back and it's cut me off. So obviously I wasn't very happy about that. So I've just tried to keep cool about it, as you do. So I've refed that line and I've gone back in on it. And about 20 minutes later, I've had another strong bite, and the rod's gone over, and I've just felt the bump of a fish, and then I've hooked into a big clump of weed, and I've just come back with a clump of weed. So my 2 first bites have really resulted in 2 lost fish, which is obviously something you cannot afford to do. But when you can't see what it's like down there, you've no idea, what can you do? And that's really been my match, really. I've kept going across there to try and find a fish. I haven't had any bites over there. I've had a line at 28 meters, just past the middle, like a 3/4 line. Haven't had any bites there. And then in spells, I kept coming back onto this inside line. And then at exactly halfway stage, I've gone and hooked a fish, stood up straight away. I've gave it quite a bit of stick, to be honest. I didn't want it to go anywhere. And thankfully, I've landed it. I've landed a carp, which obviously avoids the blank, and it avoids the complete blowout. But with half of the match to go, I was really super confident that I was going to get another one. And so I've refed it. I've just kept refeeding it and going back on it. And then I've literally only had 1 more indication on that line. It was a short pull. It actually looked like a liner, as though a fish had swam through the line, because when I picked up, there was just literally nothing there. The bait wasn't touched or anything. And that's it. That is it. That's been the end of the match. Incredibly frustrating, but what can you do? But I didn't think I'd done too bad. One carp, you know, it's not a big carp that I've had, but I thought I might be midway in the section. I might have done all right, or not blown out anyway. But then the scales have come down, and as one or two people were telling us during the match, they have caught some fish up at that top end, but they have caught one or two big fish as well. I think one of the fish that's been caught has been 7 kilos. Another lad's only had 1 bite, but he's weighed 4 kilos. Another lad's had 1 bite and weighed 3 kilos. And my one fish has gone 1.5 kilos. So I can't really say any more than that. You know, that's basically it. I can't dissect it too much. When you get a bite on 4 maggots, you know, it could be a small carp or it could be a double-figure carp, but that's what it is. But obviously, I'm annoyed at having lost those 2 fish, but the way that I lost them, I don't really know what else I could have done, to be fair. So I've ended up catching anyway, so I've avoided the blank, and that's really wraps up my competition. It looks like, I don't know what I'm going to come away with today. It could be as much as 10 points, which with my 7-point total is obviously going to give me 17 points, and I've no idea if that's going to get me in the top 20, or I don't know. I've no idea at this stage. I know there's been lots of other blanks around from 1 or 2 of the leaders as well. So my biggest disappointment is not finishing higher in the section. I've got to be honest about that. I've done everything I could to get a fish out, well, get a bite and get a fish out, and I really felt that that would be enough to get me, I don't know, you know, a top 5, 6 or something like that in the section. But as it turns out, some of those bigger fish, and there's been 1 or 2 more fish caught down there, there's nothing I can do now. I'm going to get the gear packed away. It feels like there's a bit of rain coming. Tonight we've got to get all our kit packed back into Mark Morris and Steve Wielden's vans, in the van. Get all this kit packed in there because they're setting off at about 4 o'clock in the morning to drive all our tattle back to England for us. So I've got to get back there now because they've got a load of tattle to get loaded up, and I'll find out how the lads have gone on, and I'll obviously give you a full rundown on the final results for the whole competition. Well, we're back at the hotel now. We've got about half an hour before we've got to go and have something to eat. The results are already up, which is absolutely fantastic. Everybody knows how good the results service is, you know, and just everybody being on the game and everything. Unfortunately for me, it looks like, obviously, you know, as I feared on the bank, that carp that I managed to land has just been too small, and so it's actually given me 11 points for today, which, you know, I'm obviously really disappointed about. I have lost those 2 fish, but to be absolutely honest with you, the way that I've lost them, they've been in snags virtually straight away as soon as I've hooked them, so I'm not quite sure what else I could have done, but I really feel as though I should have been able to find at least 1 more fish somewhere during the day, but it's just not happened. And there are some very, very big name anglers that have had a much worse week than I have. And so what I'm going to do is, I've got to get upstairs. Get changed, go and have something to eat with Dad. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a full scan through of the full result. Okay, they've already got it up here on the boards. So I'll just give you a quick pan through like I did last night, because you don't want to hear me whittering on, because this is going to show you everybody's rankings. It's going to show you this year's winner, everybody's rankings, the pegs, the weights, everything, okay? And I'll scan it right the way through to the end, so that if you're looking out for any of your friends, which I know some of you are, to find out how they've actually gone on, then obviously you're going to be able to do that. And it is a video, so whilst it might seem quite a quick scan, you can obviously pause it or replay it. So I'm going to do that now for you, but I'm just going to say thank you for all the support. Really appreciate it this year. It has been another roller coaster, yeah, it's been another challenging year, but let me just show you where everyone's finished. Right, so here's the full board here for everyone in the feeder competition. So if I get this the right way, it goes from there to there. Okay, so there we go. So we'll just pan through. I think the light is all right for you. We're right the way through from 110th place. You can see the points down the right hand side. The flag, obviously, of the nationality. It should help you pick out anyone that you might be looking for. You've got the points, the peg, and the weight for each of the 3 days. So we'll just pan the way up that way, up to 79, and then it goes over to there, to that sheet. So we've seen some late changes, which you'll see if you've been following what's been happening through the last few days. If you do want to see what we've been up to through this week, getting out here, through the practice days, through day 1, day 2, then the videos are right here on the channel for you if you've just joined us, right here on the Catch Fishing channel. And obviously by seeing the results from the other days, you'll see how some of these positions have really changed over the last day or two. There has been a little bit of a discussion about some of the pointing or the scoring system as regards anglers that are blanked. That's not something I can touch on, to be fair. So we're into the last 26 on this sheet, running right the way up, and there's yours truly for those of you who are interested. I've ended up in 19th. I've ended up on 18 points, but as you can see with the points it's so close. So obviously top 20. Mark Morris is there from England, who's had a bad day today, but he was doing really well. And then this is the top 13 on the sheet, running right the way up. Richard Smith, who I mentioned on the bank, he was 2 to my right today. He's not even had an indication. And then running right the way up to top 3, top 2 Mario, and then Roberto Garcia, this year's Iberian Master Champion. As you can see, day 1 he's had 3 points, day 2 1 point, and then he's had another section win today. Absolutely incredible score on a venue that's fishing so difficult. So he's won the competition with 5 points. So thanks again for all the support, everybody. Thanks for all the great comments. Obviously this year it's been very difficult for me to film as a feature length film, but I have been sent 1 or 2 bits of footage from people who have filmed some of what's been happening. So when I get home over the next week or so, I'm going to try and put together a nice feature length film for you. So I'm going to head on back upstairs, go and get showered and changed, make sure Dad's okay. We've got all our gear loaded into the van. The lads have just said that they're going to be leaving at 5 AM in the morning to head back to England, and then we'll be flying home tomorrow, where I'll be home tomorrow evening and I'll start working on an edit and just some more uploads for you right here on YouTube. So thanks again for following us, everybody. Hugely appreciate it. Thanks for all the great comments. You know, it is a very it's a competition that does cause a lot of kind of discussion, and again it has been tough, but we've all enjoyed it. So thanks everybody, really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next upload in a day or 2.